So with one day before the WNBA draft, I'm going to be making quite a lot of WNBA draft content today. There's going to be a couple of videos talking about that. It's going to be a pretty big day. We're going to upload 6 to 7 videos, some talking about the draft and others talking about just some other, miscellaneous, mostly Caitlin Clark related stuff. But with Anastasia Kosu, the Fever have to draft her. And I mean that. The Fever have to draft Kosu. Why do they have to draft her? Because one, they don't have any roster spots left. And they're talking about, they want to get a player that will fit the culture. They've enough picks to do that. Bree Hall's probably going to be there in the third round. There's players that are going to be available anywhere. But let's just take a look at what Anastasia Kosu can do. She's just freaky athletic, by the way. 19 years old. Playing in a decent league in Russia. Super, super athletic. And is just a defensive specimen. The way she can get her hands in. Her ability to run the floor on the defensive end. She is already a WNBA level defender. And she's 19. She is locking up legit pros in the Russian league. And as far as wing prospects go, a 6'1" freak athlete wing who is probably who's not going to make a WNBA roster next year, but you keep her rights for a few years because she's a stash player at 19 years old, it's a no-brainer. It is an absolute no-brainer, and it's a no-brainer for Kosu as well to wait because her rookie deal becomes better. This is a player who could be legitimately a rotational piece from day one if she comes in 2 to 3 years. She can be a rotational piece, and you can get her at 19 because teams don't like stashing players, and your team doesn't need anyone. The only thing you hope is that Minnesota don't have her taken earlier because Minnesota don't need anyone in the draft either. But outside of Minnesota, everyone needs players in the draft. Everyone has holes to fill in the draft. The Indiana Fever don't. The Indiana Fever don't even have the money. Don't even have the cap space to take someone in the draft. So Minnesota have a second-round pick earlier, but they also have the first-round pick. They might take her with a first-round pick. But Anastasia Kosu, I'm not joking when I say this. She is a 6'1" freak athlete, 19-year-old, who in the under-19 World Cup a couple of years, or 2021, averaged 15.7 points per game. This is the under-19 FIBA Basketball World Cup. So this is a competition that Caitlin Clark played in. And yes, I understand it's a lot harder to get stats for America, and she was MVP for a reason. She put up 15 and 13, and she's 3 and a bit years younger than Caitlin Clark in the same competition that Caitlin Clark played in. Born in 2005, playing against people born in 2002, putting up 16 points per game. And yeah, obviously played a little bit of EuroLeague when she was younger. In 2021, she was 16? So she was 16, 17, not playing much in EuroLeague. It is what it is. She was 16. And at 19, she's playing in the Russian league. And she's been good. She's been real good. 9.5 points per game. And you might be saying, that's nothing crazy. But she's 19. She's had a couple of 20-point games. And she's known as a defender. Not great three-point shooting. And that's the thing. She is like a wing, but a non-shooting wing. You keep her over in Europe with the goal set of look, your job is to work on that three ball. Become even a passable three-point shooter. And suddenly she's in WNBA. She's a WNBA player. And she's like a rotational piece in the WNBA. Not much of a passer, but over a block, over a steal per game. And she's just somebody that team, you're not going to build around her. But she's going to come in immediately. When I say immediately, when they do decide to bring her over, she's going to come in and make an impact. And the biggest thing is that you're not just throwing away a draft pick. That's just a fact. Most draft picks in the WNBA is just throwing them away. The Aces. The Aces taking Diasia Fair. Throwing her away. That was just throwing away a pick. If you don't make a roster, it's like chucking away a pick. And Kosu's not going to make the roster this year. I don't know if anyone's going to make the roster this year. It's Jaylen Brown's not going to make the roster, but it's between Jill Elaine and whoever they draft realistically for that last spot. There's no way that the roster that we see freaking Jaylen Brown averaging 7 points per game. By the way, oh my god, this computer is it's like a 6-year-old laptop that I just use when I'm on the go, and I probably need to buy a new one. But still, like Jaylen Brown, I'm not joking when I say this. Jaylen Brown averaged way less points. Way less points. And she's just was awful. Like, Jaylen Brown did on much worse splits. And this is, by the way, the same league. So you've got somebody who people are saying, oh, you know, Jaylen Brown, just look at these highlights. She could be a really good player. Jaylen Brown is a nothing. She's not a scorer. She's not at the minute, she's not scoring. She's not doing anything. Oh, she finally had a double-digit game. Okay, so her last game of the year, she scored 16 points after scoring 2 points in the previous game. She went like a 3-month spell. Okay, so she scored 10, 2, 16, 1, 13, 8. She went from like a solid, what'd you go, from October to last week without scoring more than 15 points in a game. But averaging 7 points, 36% from 2, terrible from 3. Albeit a bit better than her, but 55% from 2 for Anastasia Kosu. She can at least get to the basket and do something. And you're looking at, again, Kosu is somebody that is, like 7 years younger than Jaylen Brown, and neither of them are going to make the team. So it makes so much sense. And like Annika Soltau, like I know she's had the hype from previous years. I know she is a more hyped prospect than Kosu, but like Soltau she was playing in the Spanish league, struggled badly for a few games, then got sent to Switzerland. And yeah, she's putting up 25 a game in the Swiss league. It's the Swiss league. I don't even know if that's better than doing it in the Irish league. And like I wouldn't. You would need to be dropping 40 in games in the Irish league for me to even say, you know what, that player might be WNBA level, or just if you go and do it in the Irish league and you're gone playing somewhere else doing extremely well, for me to even suggest that. But no, this is for me. I haven't seen her name mentioned anywhere. This is the player that the Fever should be drafting one of those picks. If they want one of the picks to fight it out with Jill and freaking Jaylen Brown, that's fine. Take like a Bree Hall. I don't want him to take Lucy Olsen because I just don't think Lucy Olsen will beat out Jill Lane. You can take out someone like that. You can take someone like that, but I still think Jill Lane's going to probably get that spot if he's just going purely on merit and who's going to win and help them win. But they do need, one of the players has to be a stash. And in my opinion, the player that they should stash is no question about it, Anastasia Kosu. She's just another level to an Annika Soltau. And for me, I don't understand why Aisha Sivka has so much more hype than Kosu. I know she can shoot, but like there's a load of more. I think there are more question marks with Sivka than there are with Kosu. And obviously Sivka's probably going to come over straight away. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. I'll see you guys.